Welcome to Mathology.ca. This is going to be a short walkthrough on all the great resources available for kindergarten educators. Let's start with search. Here in the center, you see a search bar where I can search for lessons based on any words that I'm looking for. Perhaps I'm doing patterns. Here, I can then narrow down by my grade, in this case, kindergarten, and I'll see the little books that are available that work on patterning. If I go back to the home page, another way to search is via curriculum. Here, if I click on the curriculum, I'm able to go into the literacy and mathematics behaviors that are here in Ontario. If you're in another province, you'll see the indicators that are available for you. And perhaps I'm going to look specifically to maybe this one, sorting and comparing attributes. When I click on the magnifying glass, the lessons that have to do with sorting and comparing attributes come right up. Here you see two little books for geometry that are available for me as a kindergarten teacher. Now, if I go back home, another way is just by going directly to the plan. Here in the top right corner, you see the plan button where you're able to click and get access to all plans. Here, when I scroll down into the sample plans available, I find kindergarten, and here's a suggestion for a sample long-range pathway that I might take as a kindergarten teacher. Here, we begin with kindergarten resources, things like correlations, interactive tools, tutorial videos to help you get started, and access to all line masters that will come alongside the little books. For now, I'm going to go right into the interactive math tools just to give you a sneak peek. When you click on it, here you see a variety of different interactive tools, things like 10 frames or pattern blocks or color tiles. Let's take a look what you get access to. When I click on 10 frames and I go to explore, here I can explore lots of different ways to represent number. Perhaps I'm showing how to make 7. I might drag out one counter at a time until I fill up 7. But for other students, they might show it in a different way. I can change up the material, and I can even pull out multiple at a time. Here I pulled out 5 at a time, one more makes 6, and one more makes 7. Here you see the counter keeping track as well. And that can also be shown in words. If I go back, you can see that there's lots of other things that you can use with your students, even like a rec and rec. Now, if I go back to the class, here I see my long-range pathway, and I might begin the year with patterns. Here you see those two same books again to get me started thinking about patterning. For today, I'm going to go into a counting and comparing section. So this little book is the one I'm going to use today, Acorns for Walaya. When I learn about the lesson, I see really quickly that the math focus is going to be about counting sets to 10 and comparing sets to 20. As I scroll down, here you see again that I'm in on the Ontario curriculum, but if you're in another province, that will adjust for the needs of your province. And as I scroll down, I get access to the learning progression. Here you see the big ideas that are being addressed by using a story like this. The blue indicates the specific concept that's being met while using this story. If you want to know more about the learning progression, on the right-hand side is a learning connection video. These videos are about 5 minutes long and show you how these big ideas unfold from K to grade 3. If you scroll back up to the top, you can get into the lesson itself. Here, I can click on the link right below the little book. That opens up the story that I can read with my students, or I can have them read at home simply by sharing this access code into the learning management system of your choice. Once I go in and have students read and listen, they can either have the story read to them by clicking on the audio button, or they can read alongside with a friend or family member If I continue to click on, you can see
Some are green and some are brown. Some even have hats, Lilia says.
here you see a nice cross strand connection as she goes out into nature with her grandma, and they start to count and touch each acorn. Another way that you can share the story is via Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. By clicking on the link, you can easily share to your classroom. Here, I'm going to create a material that I can share with my students. Title it Acorns for Wilaya. Give my students some instructions. And there it is, into my classroom. Now I can see that this story is now available for all my students with my quick little instructions there for them. If we go back to the story, you'll see on the lesson page that there's also some suggestions of things that you might talk about as you share the story with your class, and things that you might think about as you introduce the story, with some suggested questions that you can use right there. When I scroll back up to the top and I go into differentiated support, I see some suggestions for after reading. In addition, there are a series of line masters that I can use as I go through the story or after. If I look at the assessment master and I click on either PDF or Word, I'm able to quickly see some of the key pieces that I'm going to be looking for as I watch students engage in some of these activities, whether they can count sets to 10 and compare sets to 10. And of course, these are all modifiable. I can easily change them to meet the needs of my classroom. In addition, we have another activity option. When you click on the activity, it opens up into its own page. Here, we have a small group activity that's available, but throughout the stories, you'll have access to other types of activities that you'll be able to see where they identified the math focus for you, any materials that you might need, some watch fors as you work with students, some questions you may ask, and how to differentiate for the needs of the students in your class. In addition, there are a variety of other kinds of line masters that are available for you both in PDF and in Word that you're able to access easily here. So remember from the home page that you're able to search for lessons via keyword or start with a plan. Remember, in all plans, go back to the kindergarten pathway and choose lessons that meet the needs of what you're looking for, whether it be geometry or measurement, all available right here in Mathology.ca. So go try it out.